What does it truly take to build a 40-year legacy of excellence? Pause. Well, cricket legend Rahul Dravid is about to share the secrets of his incredible journey. From the tough transition into coaching to mastering lifelong learning and deliberate practice. Dramatic pause. Imagine discovering the mental resilience etched into every chapter of his life. Ever wondered how a cricket legend turns into a rookie once more? Rahul Dravid takes us through this journey, explaining that his acclaimed playing career wasn't all it took to excel as a coach. He shares the new skills he deliberately embraced, because growth, it's a lifelong adventure.
But I think it's quite limited. And I think when you get into coaching, you quickly realize that there are a lot of other aspects to coaching and that you need to consciously work on and get better at, and I think maybe just to give you an example, things like your ability to communicate and your ability to talk and I think that's something that you're not under that much of, it's not that critical as a player, you want to have a good relationship with your friends or your teammates and you are communicating in some ways. But I think then as you get into coaching, then, a conscious effort on your ability to communicate, your ability to deal with, you will probably be in a lot more difficult conversations as a coach than you would ever have been as a player. Your ability to manage a larger group of players. Like I said, as a player, you're probably just managing yourself in some ways. But here now you've got a responsibility to manage not only the players, but then there is a ecosystem around that in which you probably have to play a role in managing that as well. So,
even at the pinnacle of success, Rahul Dravid holds on to a beginner's mindset. He opens up about the crucial role of releasing ego to foster growth. And remarkably, how he learns from those with less fame but more targeted expertise. Just imagine that blend of humility and wisdom.
And understanding that, look, I just need to go back and there are other people in this field who know a lot more than me. They might not have played as much as me. And I've seen that, I'll be very honest. I've seen that in terms of, in my work that I've done now with the NCA and in and around the coaching space. I've played a lot of the game, but, honestly, when I've interacted with people so for example, I interact with coaches sometimes and who do our coaching courses and, who've worked with kids, they probably have not played the game for such a long time, but they worked with young kids for 15, 20, 25 years. And that's an incredible body of work and experience. And when I interact with them and and they're picking up things and we're doing these video analysis and we're doing this stuff and I'm looking at it, and they're picking up things which, even though I've played for such a long time, I don't pick up. And I look at them and sometimes, that can get a little intimidating. You can think, wow, man, I've played the game for such a long time. Maybe I need to be able to, know this. But then when you sit back and think about it, you actually think, well, not really. I mean, I might have played for a long time and yeah, I have that skill of playing. But, here you're actually working with masters who maybe seen videos for 25 years.
Right.
They have that same level of experience you had on a cricket field. They have it in something else.
Correct.
And, you just got to be able to respect that. And you got to understand that in this environment, you're actually the one who's the learner, or you're the one who's got to, ask them the questions and pick up things. And
Let's dive into a pivotal moment in Rahul Dravid's life, shall we? Dramatic pause. Choosing cricket over a secure career path was perhaps his riskiest decision yet. Thoughtful. In this candid reflection, he shares his unique framework for taking calculated risks and offers indispensable advice to young athletes about making their own courageous leaps.
it was a very risky decision, and it was not a risk. It was a risky decision from obviously from the background that I came from. I came from a background where both my parents were. I wouldn't say we came from a middle class background, typical Indian background where both the parents worked. It's not like there was a big business waiting at the end of it for me. Both my mom was teaching at the architecture college. My dad worked in a private company. So typical, family, two parents working jobs. They would have retired at 58. And education was an important part of my family. I mean, in the sense, my parents were both postgraduates. Just typical sort of middle class family where a lot of people studied, and your studying was important.
So, just what elevates the good to the great? Dravid thoughtfully deconstructs his deliberate practice philosophy. He unveils strategies to mentally conquer the loneliness and setbacks that inevitably shadow the quest for excellence.
Players that I have worked with, or I have played with, or I continue to work with, are the ones who honestly. So yes, quantity is one aspect of it, but it's the quality of that practice that is almost more important. What am I getting out of that practice, and am I willing to push myself and challenge myself out of my comfort zone? That is the important thing. A lot of times I find that there are people who get very good at something, and then they are just comfortable doing that. They don't want to look uncomfortable, or they are scared to sometimes try new things, and then you find that there's a ceiling limit to that. Then you find people plateau out in their careers, or they're not able to just take that next step or go to the level.
Ultimately, Rahul Dravid's remarkable journey underscores an enduring truth. Greatness isn't a fixed destination. It's a constant journey marked by humble learning, focused practice, and the resilience to persist.